Here, kitty, 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 puss, puss. Okay, so here I am winging it again. So what I'm doing here is I'm adding a bit of watercolor paint to ink drawing. And I'm starting with some burnt sienna here. It's one of my favorite colors. Just such a lovely warm color. And between the burnt sienna and the mineral violet, I'm aiming for a kind of dark chocolatey brown, because that's the color that Shanty's patches are. And I'm just, when I paint this in, I'm not doing the coloring in thing. I'm just letting the paint go where it goes, and ideally missing the odd little bit for a bit of light, a bit of sparkle. And I apologize for not having my watercolor palette in better view. I got to work on that, making sure everything's in the right place so you can see everything. So I'm just kind of getting quick strokes. You know, I find I can get way more expression that way. Get the strokes in quickly and don't worry about going back and filling up those little white bits, because those are our highlights. Those are our sparkle. And I actually haven't finished an ink drawing this way for a long time, but I just, I like trying new things, and I just thought I'd kind of see what it's like. So it's just a sketch, of course, and I plan to continue with this one too. I want to do another different type of drawing with this same photo, finished in a different way, and add some watercolor to it too. So I'm not sure if I'll make a recording of that one. I don't make promises on that for sure, because I've done it in the past and then not gotten it done. So it'll, whatever will be, will be. So I'm just kind of doing a little bit of filling in of her facial markings. And the reason I'm getting a bit of burnt sienna around the outside is because it kind of unifies the whole sketch. And heading back in with some more burnt sienna, because I guess I felt like it was the purple was too purple. I'm just thinking about every stroke. Mix and paint again. Out of your view. I'm sorry about that. So I'm mostly using burnt sienna and dioxazine, or mineral violet in here. A couple of my favorite colors. Just some quick strokes. And I don't feel this was one of my best sketches, but it's great for an instructional video. It's great for learning. And that's why, even if I don't really particularly think one of my sketches is the best, I still continue with it, because I want the learning. I want the practice. And that's what it's all about. It's all about playing, mucking around. And Shanty, the cat in the picture, is settling in really well now. I think it's about 3.5 weeks that she's been home now. And I think she's finally accepted me as her mom. And I'm probably, doing too many layers of that really washy type watercolor, because I'm working on just sketchbook paper here. It's a good quality sketchbook paper, but it's still sketchbook paper. I could do so much more on good watercolor paper. I've been more into the sketchy thing lately. I just love it, the freedom that it offers. And as always, I recommend that you watch my videos with sound and without sound, because there's a lot to be gained from just watching me paint or draw. And always remember that if you don't want to have sound but you want to know what I'm saying, you can always turn on the closed caption for those captions. And blotting out I thought I got too much in those ears there, so there I go with my towel blotting it out. Yeah, it's just one of those ways that we correct watercolor if we need to. And sometimes when I blot it out like that, I'm left with just the right amount. Other times it ends up blotting right out, and that way I can start again. All is never lost. If anything, you've gained practice. And I just love those, perfectly imperfect drawings, because it just shows your beautiful journey as an artist. And I find it so sad when people try to hide those. When I go to my art group, I just love seeing people's practice pages. There's a real beauty in it that just doesn't even compare to a so-called finished perfect piece of art. No such thing as perfect, remember that. But it has the humanity in it. It has the authenticity in it. That's what I love about it. It shows the artist's soul. She's mostly doing these blankets. She's kind of laying on a bed. She's actually laying on one of my mom's homemade quilts. And one thing I noticed here when I started painting is I forgot to do her chin in the ink. So I'll probably add some ink over top of that later. So I'm just trying to darken up her chin, because she has a dark chin the same color as her other spots, patches, whatever you want to call them. And I'm filling in some of the white with a really fine wash. And, that's just to kind of get rid of some of the starkness and also to give her some texture, to give her a bit of a shadowy look. I got carried away and put another layer of watercolor on top of the one that was already wet. So I ended up with some blossoming, which I was trying to get rid of there. Sometimes I get in too much of a rush, get excited about it, and get carried away. It's all such a beautiful learning experience. And I really hope that you get the same joy out of it as I do. And that's why I love teaching. Pretty much most of the time more proud of my students' work than I am of my own. I just love to see the sketches that my students produce because of watching my tutorials. It just totally touches my heart. So if you join our Facebook group, I would love to see your cat art posted there. And you'll find the link in the description and some other links too. I'm trying to have the focus more on the cat rather than the blanket. So that's why the blanket is kind of just, faded out and not as much attention given to it. I learned so much by doing this one, and just valuable learning that I'm going to take towards the next one. Get that paint out of the way and really get into that. You see, with the violet and the burnt sienna, we've got a bit of a contrast because they're close complementaries. And I just love the glow, the warm glow that burnt sienna behind her gives her, and it unifies the sketch because she's got burnt sienna in her too. And just a suggestion of the quilt pattern, just a tiny, tiny suggestion. And even her markings too are simplified. I didn't worry about getting every little dip and dive in the outline around her patches, because I just want the idea of it. We don't want to get hung up on details. They kind of take away from the bigger picture, don't they? I ended up putting on too much burnt sienna here, I think. And that's why I got out the towel, my blotting towel. I feel like I've really captured her spirit here. This was her first day home and she was scared. She was still pretty scared being here. And I was aiming to capture that look, and I think I did. There's some more touches here. Ideally, I would just get a couple of coats on here. But I felt I needed more. It's mostly because it's a thinner watercolor paper. It's sketchbook watercolor paper. I'm liking how she looks. And she has just, her eyes are basically a muted color of her markings with a hint of blue. So I was adding some blue here, but I felt I overdid it too. So I blotted it back out. Her eyes stand out better that way, I think. I think with the blue in them, we kind of lost them. And there I go mucking about again. Putting back the brown. Kind of just a bit of blending. Shadowing. Just sit back and admire my work. See how I like it. I do like how it's turned out. And stay tuned because I'm really thinking that I'm going to do another one of this one and also for lots more cat art videos. Yeah, I couldn't resist putting more dark color in there to give her that dark chin. She has such lovely markings. She's a beautiful girl. Beautiful girl with a rough past. I'm glad she's with me now. So thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe so you'll get to see more of my awesome cat art videos. See you next time.